Hello, gentlemen. I'm going to assume if you feel like a gentleman or a man, you are one. So listen in if you'd like. I've decided that you know what, even lacking the wonderful backspace and lighting and all the fancy lady dresses and stuff, I'm just going to be real and offer some real information for men who would like to who would like to up level a little bit. You know what I mean? Like maybe you would like to get away from the typical high maintenance, like dramatic relationships where you feel like you're doing, the Pop Goes the Weasel song always comes into my mind because when I learned what that song was about, it's like you go to the pawn store every Monday to pawn your Sunday best suit that you'd normally wear to church. And you do that so that you can pay the bills for the next week, and then you go back and you have to buy the same suit with effectively the same money to wear to your Sunday best to church, right? Which was a really like, it's like, wow, really, that's what that song's around about. But that's what it makes me think about, especially when I see a lot of you soon to be gentlemen out there chasing your tails like that. It's like, oh, around and around the mulberry bush, monkey chase the weasel. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? And I know a fair amount of you would like to get out of those loops. And so, just like I offer information for women and ladies, I thought, why not? I started this channel I did the Path to the Empress for DFs and Path to the Emperor for the DMs. You check them out too if you want. I have not completed all of them, but they are there. And I've been told it's very useful information. So, we're going to start this one out. And I want to say, like, if you if you want to be with a lady, whether she's, she could be a little more tomboyish of a lady like me, or she could be real prim and proper and hot Miss Young Thing, fits more to the magazines, whatever you like. Just make sure that you're not picking your partner based solely on what they look like, because that only lasts so long. Like the physical attraction stuff is going to get you in more trouble if you're not clear in your head and your mind are, yeah, in in your head and in your heart about what you want after those fun honeymoon limerence feelings are there. And the way to get there is to first know who the heck you are. And I'm going to give you, like, this is going to be the best advice. Like, I do these differently when I'm talking to the ladies. I have been one of the gals that hung out with guys most of my life up until the last couple of years. I'm just going to give it to you straight, okay? Women play a lot of fucking games. And I know this because, like, there are typically going to be two kinds of women you're going to run into. Women that have either no idea about the games, and then you've already met those that have, and so you don't trust them, or women that definitely play those games that are really good at pretending that they don't know about playing those games. And it does get confusing. But you know how you overcome that? You know, if you're lined up with a partner who's going to be good to you, it's going to be when you know yourself. Okay? When you know yourself because you want to know you, when you're not in relationships, when you're not doing everything for your family, when you know you that well that you can confidently walk around, then when you have a woman come and tell you about yourself, you neither need to get upset nor do you need to take it in. You know what I mean? The other thing is you got to recognize everybody, and especially women because of how much we talk. If you listen carefully, we will tell you exactly who we are. You don't need to go anywhere else to get the what do you call it, the paper off the hot presses to know exactly who a person is. If you're sitting with a woman who is telling you how she feels about, like, if she's judging all sorts of other people, I don't care if it's politicians or her babysitter or her ex or whatever, if she's sitting there complaining to you, judging all sorts of people, that's exactly who she is. If you have somebody that's sitting there telling you exactly why somebody behaves the way they do, and it's like, oh, it's a bad thing, like they're trying to trick you, they just want your money, they don't really want what they say they want, it's not necessarily even that they're wrong about the person they're talking to you about, but the key thing you need to know, gentlemen, is that they're telling you about themselves. They're telling you about why they would do something like that. And I can guarantee that if you're having said conversations with them, they probably have done something like that to you, and you can then go, so that's why you did it with me, right? But you can, like, look at that. Hello, puzzles me. But like, look at that, gentlemen. Look at that. Like, when you have somebody telling you about everybody else's motivations, you probably have somebody who's often got the motivation to try to steer the direction of what yeah thanks my halo, right? See my halo. But somebody who's telling you about the motivations of everyone else. I mean, you got one of two major likelihoods: either they really really like human behavioral therapy kind of thing and they're like doing it because they just like to observe people, or they're telling it to you because they're always thinking about how they can manipulate somebody. So somebody's saying like, oh no, like even if the person says all the right things, they're just manipulating you. That person just told you exactly who they are. So, man, really, like, get to know yourselves, because the really big part of this is that if you don't know who you are, you're likely to let the women that are not in high vibes yet, give them grace, they'll get there, be the ones that dominate your life. Whether you're a dominant man or not, like, it will likely happen, especially in this day and age. Me Too movement and stuff, and it's not even Me Too movement isn't even really intersectionally feminist. So like, you're at kind of a deficit already with women that, like, understandably are on the other end of the extreme. It's going to be a little while before that cools down. So you definitely, and plenty of good women too are in a space where they've been conditioned to believe that they need to manipulate in order to move around. Like, it became a safety thing for a long time too. Is like, if you're not able to have a man claim you and be able to do all this stuff and have money and all that, then you're unsafe. Or, like, this is what a lot of our mothers and their mothers and things like that trained into us, that you have to have this. So you got to be aware that a lot of women out there have not healed that yet, and they're going to be going at relationships from the approach of you as a resource. And if you don't know who you are, you're going to be so fucking easy to manipulate into dramatic relationships that probably are whirlwind fun for a minute, and then like a complete tornado when it ends, and then you got a whole string of how many different relationships and marriages behind you, all because you did not know you, right? The other thing is, do you know how attractive it is? How attractive it is when you can talk to a gentleman who knows how to pull out a chair and tell a dirty joke in a classy way. Do you know how attractive it is that to have a gentleman who, like, you, if you really, if, as a lady, like, I know I really have a gentleman who is valuable when other women are trying to play their games with him. And you know what's really, really attractive is when he knows what those games are and he does not play into them, and he has healthy boundaries. He communicates to those people and he says, I love spending time with my partner during these hours. I would be happy to come out and do whatever family thing with you, or be a friend thing with you. Like, I'm a free agent in that. I like to be here with my partner. I know you probably didn't intend to, like, be in our space in that way, but I'm just letting you know. You know what attractive that is? Because that's like low-key drama. It's very masculine. It's very manly. It doesn't go to hurt the other person's feelings. It doesn't reveal too much. It's not too strong. And like, as the lady to that gentleman, it's like, You know what I mean? Like, and I've coached a lot of ladies too. So like, this is definitely something that if you want to be a gentleman, you can be a dude, you could be a guy, you could be a man, don't be a man. You want to be a gentleman, you got to be clear about who you are so you know where your boundaries are. And then you can have clear communication with the lady in the beginning, because when you know who you are, you don't need to go to your mama, your sister, your exes, your whoever, your buddies at the barber shop or at work and ask them what they think about everything. And it's not that a gentleman never asks for help. A man never asks for help. A gentleman asks for help. He's comfortable saying, I would like your opinion. But a gentleman knows who he is, so that when he gets advice and opinions, he knows when the advice and opinions are not fitting of what he wants. And he's not so concerned about what others will think about him, because he's more concerned about how he feels about himself. Like, do I like me? Like, screw the social norms. Do I like who I am? Do I feel like this, brings satisfaction into my life? Because when you can go at life that way, not only do you feel better, which should be the first thing you're working on. You should not be trying to live your life to mold yourself to what you think society needs you to be, either to have a partner or to please your family. Like, no, this is 2021. What are you doing? No. You need to mold your life to what you want it to be. Especially because a gentleman has reasonable connections with his family and friends and things like that, and he has healthy friendships. And if at all possible, he's turned around unhealthy family relationships so that they are at least pleasant and they create inner peace. And if they're not, then they're minimal. You don't have to do like I feel like men are like, well, I'll just hammer it. You know what I mean? A gentleman has finesse. You know what I mean? A gentleman is graceful. A gentleman knows when to walk away from a fight and when to pop him right in the nose and say enough. You know what I mean? I'm not encouraged. I don't want to encourage violence. I'm just saying, like, a gentleman is flexible. A gentleman recognizes that there isn't. It's not all black and white. And when you can get into that space where you feel comfortable wherever you're moving through because you know who you are, you're going to get much higher quality advice in the first place from the people you ask. You're also going to get a higher level of respect from the people around you because they're not going to see you as this needy person who constantly needs advice about various different things or who can't manage their own stuff. And when you get into a space where you can confidently also tell people to politely F off when they're trying to be in your business, you're going to feel more confident about the choices you make. And when you do make a mistake, you're going to recognize you're the only one accountable to you. You don't need to explain nothing to nobody else. Okay? When you get into that space, do you know how attractive it is to the ladies? Very. It might not be attractive to the women or the girls that are looking at you as a resource, but to ladies, oh yeah. Like, that's like, oh man, yeah, I would cook every evening and every morning. I'd get up and cook breakfast every morning for that gentleman over there. You know what I mean? Like, I'd make sure that I look nice when we go out, like, because what you want to look for, like, a lady is not looking for your money. A lady is not looking for that big fancy house. Yes, a lady has standards and rules and values, and she's going to likely look for a gentleman that can match her in her energy in other ways. But what you want to know is that ladies are in a place that they're looking for men who meet certain emotional standards. Because this day and age, as a woman, we could do almost anything that men can do. Yeah, there's still some wage gaps and shit like that, but for the most part, if we want to, we can do most anything. And if we can't do it, we've got feminine energy. We could usually manifest a guy or a dude to go and do that. You know what I mean? That's like dime a dozen. Like, yeah, it's nice if you're good at being able to move the furniture and fix things around the house, but you know what a lady really wants is to know that you've already set healthy boundaries and standards in the rest of your life, so there's never a moment that she's got to be like, who are you fighting with? Or why aren't we able to communicate? Or why are we talking about how anybody else feels about the stuff that we're doing or the stuff that you're doing? Like, you know how wonderful it is to be in a relationship where you're in a space like think about that. When you're at the level where a lady would be energetically because you're looking to fulfill her emotional bank account rather than her paycheck, like I would say financial bank account, things like that, like that's what a lady wants. Women, girls, yeah, they want your money, they might want your babies, they might all do that. I'm not saying a lady does not want your offspring, it's just different. A lady wants your offspring because they want to be a part of the rest of your life, and they want to be a part of raising a piece of you in themselves that becomes a whole new person. That's what a lady wants. Girls, women, they'll be like, oh, but it'll keep them. And I can tell you, I've had a lot of conversations with a whole lot of women that do think that way. Get him into marriage so that he's more committed and he'll work towards it. He's less likely to leave. Or, oh, have you tried getting pregnant? Doing all this, like, and you got to watch out for those ladies. They're not ladies. Those women and girls, gentlemen, and that's another reason that it's just so much worth your time, like investing into you before you even get in a relationship. But if you're in one, even while you're in one, really investing in that space of like, what kind of gentleman do I want to be and how the fuck do I get there? Put your plan together. You guys have masculine energy. If you're in a space where you're being very passive, like as in letting other people tell you what to do, or you're controlling yourself because you're worried that someone, like a mother, a sister, a partner, whoever, might get emotional or dramatic about it. For one thing, a gentleman is not scared of a lady's emotions. Okay? They're not generally scared of women's emotions either. I'm not saying that women cannot be abusive as fuck. I will be the first person to tell you about how abusive as fuck that women can be. What I'm saying is, a gentleman takes the time to get himself out of tangles like that, and when he gets into new relationships, he does the work to make sure before he commits himself to anything, including leases or helping people or any of that, he makes sure that he is interacting with a lady. It really doesn't take that long. Like I said earlier on, we will tell you exactly who we are. Men will do it too, but men are less verbally communicative. Like, y'all, it's much easier to see who you are by your actions than by your words. But ladies, typically, we will tell you exactly who we are, you know? Like, if I was to look at somebody's motivations about doing stuff, like, I am erudite. I do like human behavior. So I might say, I think this person is trying to make an emotional connection with you. It's probably because their father just passed, or it might be because they're experiencing nostalgia from the relationship you had, or they might be checking in. But you know what? It's okay. Like, they'll find somebody that fits them, right? Like, whereas you might have other women that are like, she's just trying to get in on you. She's just being annoying. She's just doing this. Da 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 da. Think about it. The way a woman talks to you, the way a lady talks to you, that is exactly who she is. She is describing for you who she is. It doesn't necessarily mean she's wrong about the other party, but that's a whole separate thing, and you would do much better if you're really wondering what the other woman or potential lady is like. Then go and maybe even ask her how she feels about other people. That could tell you a lot. But either way, you're not going to be able to really discern the difference between a woman and a lady if you don't know who you are first. I'm going to leave this here because I know you gentlemen don't like the longer videos so much anyways. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.